everything used to close in town, David, at like mid-after, four o'clock. Yeah.
The old taxi cab in the Bahamas, painted it with a dent in it and everything else.
And that custom Corvette that he made the hatchback,
Well,
he had that store for a while.
He had that at Crossover Mall in the store. He said because that was free heated storage in his shop. If he put it in his store, so
I
he
remember
had
that.
free heated storage for the winter in the store instead of
Right at
putting
the
it in
top
the
of the
truck.
escalator. He had his hands in a lot of stuff, man.
Good evening, everyone. Since it's 6 o'clock, I will call this meeting to order. And if you would join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is the agenda. Do we have any?
Yes, we have two additions to the agenda. One, I would like to place under informational/future action items. I distributed an email earlier from Matt Watts to you all. He requested that we have a light discussion or a discussion about this tonight.
Okay. Anything else?
Or it could be any other business. And then under old business, we have been requested to put on the discussion of tabling the moratorium, that whole repeal. So to bring it back to the table, it's been tabled for like a month and a half. So to bring it back to the table, do a check-in and see if we want to continue tabling it. And that can go under old business.
You wanted the email under new business or under?
Can we do actually any other business? I think that'd be good. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from July 10th.
We need a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, okay.
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to approval of the minutes from July 10th, 2025. Are there any changes or? Corrections?
I move we approve the minutes of the July 10th meeting.
Support.
Or
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we will open the meeting for citizen comments. A citizen may state their name and address and may speak only one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you will be making statements to the board without discussion from the board members. But you are welcome to make an appointment with planning and zoning staff to discuss your comments further. Please keep comments clean and respectful. Any?
If you're here for the public hearing regarding the rezone request, you could just wait until that item comes up.
Okay, I will close public hearing if we don't have anybody.
Public
Or
comment?
citizen comments, excuse me. What?
Permission to speak, Chair.
Okay,
Casey and I have discussed Paul's issue at his house. and I don't want to speak out of line, but Casey and I have talked that we would like to,
Yes, is Paul here?
Paul is.
Oh,
here,
yes,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So
After
after,
rain, you got here a little late. We were
know.
going to talk to you before. so-
yeah, after the meeting, you guys can hang around, and then me and Sandy will come over and speak
Yeah,
with you all.
we'd like to discuss what you need taken care of. And
Thank you.
we're going to work with you today, okay? So just sit tight till after the meeting. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. We will close citizen comment if we have no more discussion. And move on to new business. Casey, you
Yes, I
want to take that?
Sure can. So the new business item tonight is the 2591 South 33rd Street rezoning request and public hearing. Kyle and I received a request from the resident at 2591 South 33rd to rezone their 2.2 acres from R1A to R1A to agricultural AGR. The home is currently used as a residential residence, basically. As you can see here, the locations north, south, east, and west are all zoned R1A, so it's surrounded by residential. Kyle has put in a picture of our future land use map here, and as you can see, it is the goal in 2030, or eventually, is to have this whole strip south of East ML agricultural, so it does meet that standard. I will highlight a few comments from Kyle's staff report. So the question is whether or not this rezoning request aligns with our master land use plan, and again, the answer is yes. Rezoning the property from R1A to ag would be consistent with our future land use plan. The next question is whether all the uses allowed under the proposed rezoning would be compatible with other zones and uses in the surrounding area. It was found that a residential use would still be consistent in the surrounding character of the area. The applicant, of course, we don't look at what they're proposing when we do a rezone. It will continue to be residence. It's only a 2.2 acre lot, so they will not be able to have horses or livestock. I'll go further into that later on. The third question is whether any public services and facilities will be significantly adversely impacted by development or use allowed under the requested rezoning. It was found that the proposed rezoning is not anticipated to significantly adversely impact any public services or facilities. Lastly, the fourth question is whether the uses allowed under the proposed rezoning would be equally or better suited to the area than uses allowed under the current zoning of the land. As you can see in the previous graph, or what I have on the screens here, there is significant crossover of permitted uses in both ag and residential, or R1A. The ag district does allow for more intensive special land uses. Example, airports, wineries, hospitals, campgrounds, landfills. However, again, the lot is only 2.2 acres. If it were a bigger lot in question, we would consider maybe it doesn't fit the character of the neighborhood, but again, it is a smaller lot, and so an airport, a winery, a campground may not work on that size. And then just to summarize the findings, the master plan does have this area classified as agricultural, and the master plan has the whole East ML strip as that. The permitted uses within the ag district appear to be compatible with the character of the area. In terms of special land uses, further analysis would need to be conducted. Again, the ones we should be worried about, like farms and airports and hospitals, would not fit on land this size. And while the application does not speak to public services, the indicated intended use is not anticipated to negatively impact the subject's parcel nor the surrounding landowners. Further into the packet, we have the uses and special land uses that we referenced in our packet, both ag and residential, and I also have placed the application that we received. The applicant is here for further questions, but you can see that one of the main reasons he wanted to rezone was because of hens and eggs and having more chickens than is currently allowed.
Okay, thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to speak to this issue?
Hello, everybody. My name is Muhammad. That's my first time here in the meeting. And I've been here in this neighborhood since 2016 when I took over the house. I started having chickens like 6-7 months ago. I have some roosters too, so that has created problems. I removed the roosters, now I have only chickens. Basically, we are like 7 family members living in the house. So since the organic eggs to buy outside is very expensive. So that's the main goal to keep the hens, not the roosters. So we can have more eggs because my dad, my mom, and my kids and wife, and we're like 7 people. So we use eggs every day for the house. So that's the only reason I want to do the rezone. So I have, I can have more chickens than the limit. Like right now, I'm having like 25 hens only. So they produce like 20 to 23 eggs every day. So we consume it pretty much every day. Plus, like, I have like 2 sisters and other family members. They live in Kalamazoo in different parts of the area, so they don't have that much land. So sometimes I give it to them too, so they can use the organic eggs. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guess we could have asked questions. I'll open for our discussion. Amber?
Public hearing?
Well, you have a public hearing, don't forget.
Yeah, we still have a public hearing.
Do I do that first?
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
Before you have your planning commission deliberation, probably take public hearing.
Want a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion to open public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Swart.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are open for public hearing. A citizen may state their name and address and may speak only one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you will be making statements to the board without discussion from the board members, but you are welcome to make an appointment with planning and zoning staff to discuss your comments further. Please keep comments clean and respectful.
My name is Dolores Miller. We live at 9610 East ML. Our property adjoins, we have 4.3 acres or something, so the back of our property goes along the back of their yard. I do oppose it. Number one, we get trash from their yard, including big chicken feed bags that come across our field. Every spring when we come home, we have stuff, and I don't know if that's gonna make more trash. The roosters were a problem. I don't know that the chickens have gotten our property, but I know that they go to the 2 properties to the north, that they get on their property. And I'm also worried about that if I know that where people raise chickens, it attracts rats. That concerns me.
Thank you.
Okay. Evening. That was a good start, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My name is Susan O'Flaherty, and along with my husband, Randy Van Avery, we live at 9580 East ML in Comstock Township. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. First, I want to be clear, I'm not opposed to neighbors keeping chickens, as long as they follow the rules that this township has already put in place. I believe the current ordinance, as you mentioned, allows up to 6 hens with no roosters, that it strikes a fair balance between individual freedom and protecting the peace and health of our residential neighborhoods. The reason I'm here tonight is that the neighbors applying for their permit or variance have already had chickens, and not just a few, as the applicant just mentioned, about 25, and have had at least 6 roosters, which clearly violated the township ordinance. It wasn't just an occasional crowing from the roosters. It was disruptive, ongoing, and clearly against the ordinance. And frankly, it felt like the rules weren't being taken seriously. If a permit is now being applied for at that property, I ask the board and the zoning officials consider past behavior. The ordinance clearly states that violations can result in permit denial or cancellation. This should be enforced and not overlooked. Again, this is not about being against chickens. It's about being for the ordinance, being for the ordinance that you have already thoughtfully created. I'm asking you to ensure that the rules are followed and fairly enforced. I think it's fair to ask whether they will follow it going forward. Past behavior should matter in decisions like this. I thank you for your time and for helping maintain a safe, respectful, and peaceful community for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
My name is Ken Scott, and I live at 2754 South 33rd Street. And I disagree that this fits in with the neighborhood. Across the street on South 33rd Street, the west side of the road is a plat, and it runs from ML 3 houses south of me. It also runs west of 33rd Street on ML. So I don't see where putting a bunch of chickens across the street from a plat is a good idea. Also, as far as your master zoning plan to protect the farmlands, I don't see where granting rezoning to small pieces of property is going to affect saving the farmland from being developed further. And I just don't think this is a good idea at all. And the person in question has already violated the existing rules. He admitted as much that he violated the rules here. And to me, granting his request for rezoning is just rewarding him for breaking the rules. I mean, it looks to me like if you want to do something, break the rules, and it'll be easier to get it through. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
So now you can close public hearing, and the planning commission can have deliberation. You can ask questions of the applicant if you want. Okay?
I move we close the public hearing.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing's closed. This is the time we're going to discuss this issue. Amber?
I want to just remind you for a second, we would have to waive the bylaws if we choose to act tonight. Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I always get to start. This one's a tough one for me, quite frankly, and the reason for that is we've recently made a decision to rezone based on our master plan a larger piece of property. And so if we're staying consistent with that, it feels like this should also be rezoned. I understand the concerns about the chickens, but it meets the criteria for the rezoning from what I can see. I welcome opinions otherwise, right? Because this is collaborative here. I'm thinking out loud, being the first one on the spot. I also know that we have the chicken ordinance on our agenda tonight to discuss, and potentially allowing for more chickens and larger land sizes for residential. So I don't know that I have a formulated opinion, and I certainly would say that I'm not going to like I would be in favor tonight of making sure we follow our bylaws and we take the time to really consider this.
Thank you. Bob? I'm looking at the map, and I'm seeing the plat over here, which is actually, there's a couple lots between there and the road, and then the plat is the opposite way from it. You know, when I first looked at this, before I started reading it and whatnot, it kind of looked like a spot zoning to me, but then I look at it more, it does follow the master plan, the 2030 master plan, and that's what everybody talked about tonight at the other meeting. You know, well, if we're gonna have a master plan, we need to follow it. So, I honestly agree, no roosters for sure. You know, the chickens should have their coop and they should follow all the ordinances as written if we're gonna approve this. So, you know, to follow the master plan, I'd have to say yes. But there has to be it has to be policed where it doesn't get out of hand or there's trouble with it. Thank you. Greg?
When I read through this in advance, I did highlight a few items, and it does follow the master plan. I have also not developed an opinion on it. I just know that the master plan is our guideline. There's other questions that we need to probably ask and discuss amongst each other, but it does fit the criteria.
Thank you. Joseph?
This is a little ironic for me in some ways. The previous rezoning that was similar to this on the surface, I was opposed to it because I felt that even though it was in line with the master plan and future land use plan, I should say, I felt there was a conflict with the existing development. I did a site visit on this property, and I looked at this, and I actually felt that this was a different situation, that the rezoning was more appropriate in this area because of the existing development. But I'm conflicted now because we've been confronted with residents who understand the consequences of rezoning this in their neighborhood. If you remember when we completed the public hearing last time, the owner said that their neighbors were perfectly happy with their plans as long as there weren't cows and roosters and goats. But if we turn this into agricultural, that's exactly what the neighbors get. They can get cows and a feedlot and every other use that is permitted in agricultural. So I came here tonight thinking that I could support this rezoning, and now I'm conflicted because of the, neighbor opposition. So I'm going to have to do some considering and soul searching myself.
Thank you, Joe. Jim?
Reading through this and that, yes, as everybody said, it does fit our 2030 future plan and that. But I listened to the neighbors that have talked today, and I have heard about he's not, with the ordinance we have now, he's already violated, which makes me think very much what's going to happen down the road and stuff like that. So right now, I have to rethink this, and I have no opinion. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Sandy?
The thing with going last is I sound like I'm talking what everybody else has said already. It does fit the criteria. I live out that way. I understand the frustrations of those of you that are sitting before us with the chickens, because we have the same issue across the street from us. And people do need to follow the ordinance. I have roosters around me, but I'm a farm girl, so they don't bother me. But at the same time, if you're going to have the privilege of being granted to have chickens, you need to abide by the rules and respect everybody else's surroundings, because people do not move into a suburb wanting animals around them. If I did, I would have stayed on the farm. So I think we need to sit on this one, because I feel like with us working on that ordinance for the chickens, which is on our agenda tonight, I would like to find out from our ordinance officer how many complaints he has had through the township that we're dealing with roosters and chickens not being where they belong. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy. Well, my feeling is 6 chickens is a lot of chickens for one family. I know it meets our master plan, and we're gonna look at more chickens for our master plan, but, or, you know, our ordinances, but if he's unable to control 6 chickens, or his chickens, now, what's it gonna be like in the future? And are there gonna be, as Joe says, we're gonna have horses and everything else there in an agricultural setting? So, I guess,
I got a question, Larry, if I can.
yeah, go ahead, Bob.
What is permissible on ag with 2.2 acres? I mean, you gotta have 10 acres to have a horse, right?
You need 5 for horses.
Yeah.
So 5 for horses.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what our livestock triggers are, but I do know for sure it's 5 acres for horses. Maybe 10 for livestock, but that, don't quote me on that right now, but I know that there's nothing below 5 that you can.
Okay.
But I will say that roosters are allowed in ag.
Is it just roosters?
Roosters.
Well, chickens.
In that, well, chickens in that area, in that size of an area.
Perhaps goats or sheep. I don't know exactly what the.
So we have to keep in mind the Right to Farm Act,
Yeah.
that and it doesn't sound like it fits this case, because you have to be in commercial production, and you have to be in compliance with generally accepted agricultural management practices. That could change any type of regulation you have in your own ordinance. So, you know, there are some different analyses when you're looking at amount of animals or farm animals allowed. And even on small parcels, chickens and roosters can be allowed in certain cases, but you have to be in commercial agricultural production. So selling, that type of thing. So we have to look at our own ordinance, but also what's the state law on this as well.
Thank you. If you would like to come back, we might have some questions for you. Amber, do you have any questions? Bob?
No, I do not.
Craig? Joseph?
No questions.
Jim?
No, none at this time.
Sandy?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I guess.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Actually, I don't know the rule before, that how many chickens or hens I have allowed. Otherwise, I would go for that. So I just start having hens because eggs are getting expensive. And the eggs we buy from the market, they have the disease coming in, we have to send it back and throw it back. That's how I started having hens. If I would know the rule that I would have 6 hens, I would have come to you before start having it. Because honestly speaking, because I have no plans to have sheep, goats, that needs a lot of attention. Where hens needs very less attention, especially for the house. And 25 hens is not a big problem. Now, since I wasn't at home when somebody visit over there and tell us, so we now have 4 feet high bar, and the controlled hens, they're not going anywhere. Before they were moving around, but they were, most of the time they were in on my property lines. Because mostly hens, to my experience, they stay close to where you put in a cage. They don't go further than that. But since he mentioned, we work on to remove the roosters, and now we have no rooster at all.
May I stand and say something?
Yes.
When he gets done?
Public,
It takes us time to finish the rooster, but we finish it, there's no more roosters now. And we have no plans to keep the roosters in the future, just hens for the eggs, honestly.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
you're welcome, sir.
We do have public comment again later in the meeting, or in our meeting, so you can talk then.
Okay. We can do that.
Okay, I guess we have to put a vote whether we want to vote tonight or we want.
I move that we follow our bylaws and vote at our next meeting.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Okay, let's do a roll call.
Okay, Bub,
This is just for
And so the vote is.
the vote, yeah.
The vote is just to decide if you're going to table it and not take action tonight, but at your next planning commission
Right.
meeting.
So yes would be table it.
Yes is table.
Okay.
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Joseph,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes,
Sandy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Gotcha.
okay,
This will be tabled
is-
until August 14th.
okay.
Got the date in my head.
Our next item for discussion is our chicken ordinance.
Okay, so Kyle and I discussed, and we thought it'd be best to just put in our chicken ordinance as it is and see if you guys have any preliminary discussions before we begin getting really into it, unless you feel like you can get into it tonight and then have public hearing next meeting. So just want to see what we can get accomplished tonight and go from there.
Okay, I'll go the other way tonight. Sandy, you want to talk on this issue?
You're giving Amber a break over there.
Yeah.
First, I want you all to understand that I'm a farm girl. I grew up with 2,000 chickens.
That's a lot of chickens.
And there was also 50 broilers, and that was every year. So I understand the ins and outs of chickens, okay? You aren't gonna pull the wool over my eyes standing up here. They do bring in rats and mice, and that is an issue. As far as a hen laying an egg, you're gonna get 1 egg a day per hen if you're taking care of your hens. If you are free-ranging your chickens, you are not going to get as many eggs as you would if you were feeding them a feed. Whereas your feed will bring in your rodents. So it's not just a fly by the seat of your pants, setting this up and doing it, which it sounds like what you might have happened in this instance. I have people all around me that have chickens, and they do not stay in their 4-foot-high fence. They go everywhere, and their droppings even bring in rodents. So I moved into a suburb not to have animals around me. I don't have a problem with the people that have them around me because they do keep theirs caged. But on the flip side of that, across the street, we do have an issue where they've done everything to every neighbor around there but cross the road. And that's the joke in our neighborhood. So I'm up in the air about this, expanding more. I mean, how many eggs can you eat and use in a day without starting to give them away? What is fair? What is right? And I feel like if you still have a larger piece of property, maybe you should have more. But let's don't have a few residents ruin it for those who can. That's kind of where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
I've read this chicken ordinance that we're reviewing tonight and I feel that we need to work it to the best that would work for our citizens of the township, and to make sure that our code enforcement agent is following what needs to be done on this ordinance here. I also feel that we need to look at a couple of different areas and see what we can make it better, and maybe like a fence and stuff like that. That's all I have.
Thanks, Jim. Joseph?
Yeah, I see a lot of areas in this ordinance that I would like to tweak. For residents that are living on, small parcels, maybe up to an acre or something, a lot of the specifics are still not firm in my mind, but larger parcels. We had a person in here that had a 15-acre parcel of residential property and wanted more than 6 chickens. I think that's very reasonable. So I would like to see some sort of formula that accommodates larger residential parcels and accommodates a larger number of chickens up to a reasonable limit. And then some of the other requirements that are in here are just, I think, too strict. Certainly, we don't want to loosen control. We don't want to create a situation that is hard to, maintain and administer. But, just in this example, the coop and pen shall be a maximum of 7 feet in height. What does that limitation accomplish? I mean, if you have a coop that's 8 feet in height, does that cause a problem of safety? Or it says shall not exceed a total of 90 square feet. Well, again, if you do allow more than 6 chickens, 90 square feet might not be enough. There's another thing in here that the coop and pen must be completely enclosed with a top or a cover. Well, most coops are, of course, enclosed, but the runway doesn't need to be covered, and what we haven't addressed, and perhaps it's addressed in other areas of the ordinance, but is other types of livestock on larger residential areas: turkeys, rabbits, geese, possibly goats. One applicant talked about donkeys. I mean, I would like to see, again, for larger residential lots, and we have quite a few of them, some accommodation for those types of husbandry should be made, or I feel should be made. There's a restriction in here that the entire area that the chickens have access to has to be fenced. And again, for larger residential lots, I would like to see some alternative to that. Clearly, we don't want chickens leaving their property and invading neighbors, but completely fencing a 15-acre property, for instance, in order to have free-range chickens may not be reasonable. So those are my ideas, and they all need to be worked out. I don't have specific changes that I'd like to make, but I think the ordinance needs some work. And we know that there are residences that have larger lots and want to have more than 6 chickens. And I think that we can come up with a formula that works for both the residents and their neighbors.
Thank you, Joseph. Greg?
I had a few concerns of my own or questions and things that we need to work on. The keeping of a certain amount of chickens for your own food, meat source. I think the coop raises good concerns with smaller lots, not necessarily the larger lots. I think we have nice residential areas in this community, and to have chickens in those areas and not be kept in a coop would be a disservice to their neighbors. I think the permitting process, just so that we can keep track of things in the community, is very important before we get the chickens, or before a neighbor or resident would get chickens. I also believe the food source, like Sandy mentioned, to keep your area clean or tidy is super important.
Thank you, Greg. Bob?
Yeah, I agree a lot with what Joe said and Greg said, and keeping a coop clean is a process. It is work to keep a coop clean. I don't believe that a small 1/8 acre lot should have more than 6 chickens, but somebody who has a 2 acre or 5 acre or 10 acre, I think there ought to be a balance in there. And I think we need to work on that. I mean, when I grew up on 26th Street, you know, my mom and dad their lot was only like 100 by 200, but 26th Street was a dirt road. And we had chickens and stuff, and they just ran, you know, but they put the developments in and whatnot. Dad fenced in the yard, he built the chicken coop out back, and he maintained them and took care of them. So, and you're gonna get more eggs too in a clean coop than you are just a free-range chicken running around. So I think we need to look at a lot of different things on this, but I think the lot size, the number of chickens is gonna be one of the things we need to look at. And some of these residential areas are restricted lots. What are the restrictions in those lots by the builders or whoever built that plat? So I think we need to break this down a lot more than what it is right now.
Thank you, Bob. Amber?
Yeah, I think that it should be dependent on lot size, because I do think that there is room for more than 6 hens, and not every breed will give you one a day. And sometimes when you have a broody hen, you don't get any. So there is some balance to how many you're gonna get. I also absolutely would like to address the size of the coop. It's recommended for, you know, so we're saying 90 square feet. Realistically, you should have, the run should be 8 to 10 feet per chicken. And then you should probably have anywhere from 2 to 4 feet per chicken in the coop. That's just kind of standard recommended size. And so if you just did math on six hens, the minimum recommended size for a coop and a run would be 84 square feet. And so while our ordinance currently allows for that at 90, we're on the smaller side, and some people really, I mean, I don't know if you ever looked at online or TikTok, there's some pretty impressive chicken coops that people do. But that said, I think that, you know, what we're seeing more and more with kind of a desire to homestead in modified form is that people want to provide a quality of life for the animals that are helping feed their families. And there's a desire to move away from a lot of production agriculture and have more of that homestead space. So I think there's room to accommodate that while still making sure that we preserve smaller lots and we don't inconvenience neighbors. I'm undecided about how I feel about roosters, if I'm honest. I think they add security for your hens. I think there's some value, but I also certainly recognize the noise. So again, perhaps that is relevant to lot size and whatnot. I also am a little bit concerned about letter C under B2, where it says the use of corrugated metal, fiberglass, sheet metal, plastic tarp, scrap lumber, or similar materials not in keeping with the appearance of other accessory buildings in the immediate area of the property as determined by the zoning administrator is prohibited. Because I think that is vague. And it does eliminate a lot of important tools potentially. I'm a big fan of scrap lumber because when you make things on your farm and you do DIY projects, you end up with a lot of scrap lumber. That can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. And so I just am, and depending on where it is on the property, I don't know that it entirely matters how somebody puts together their coop if they're able to do so. If it's in visible sight of the road and could be inhibiting to somebody else's property value, then maybe it's a concern. So I think there's some things we can tweak here and work on, but there's a lot to consider.
Thank you. I agree with all that's been said, but I especially agree with Joe's thought that we need a sliding scale for property size versus number of chickens, or chickens and roosters, I guess, if it's going to be on agriculture. And I think that would be real important. Half acre shouldn't have, tons of chickens. I mean, I don't know where you put them all. Any other comments before we?
No, I think we just need to spend some time on this and rework it.
I agree.
I have seen in other ordinances formulas that are based on acreage, where up to a certain limit, each additional acre, you can add one chicken or something like that, up to a maximum. So I'll come up with something like that for our review. And the only other comment I would make is that roosters are an example, but a style of accessory structures and stuff. A lot of that is enforced through a complaint-driven system, and I'm sure that's the case here in Comstock as well. If a neighbor complains that there's a chicken or a rooster noise, then something will be done about it, or hopefully something would be done about it. But there are situations in the township now where I hear rooster noises, and if no one's complaining, the situation goes on. And I would like to see it remain that way, but enforcement is always, enforcement of all of our ordinances is a difficult struggle, and these in particular have historically been complaint-driven sort of situations.
Thank you. Sandy, you're our resident expert on chickens, I guess.
The one thing I haven't heard anybody discuss, and that is the predators that are going to come into the communities. You're going to end up rabbits, cats, your dogs, your smaller dogs. But that's the residents' job to make sure that they don't come up missing. So, and even the people who have the chickens, I mean, if you don't have them put away at night, you're going to have a fox out there and they're going to get them all. So it's only a matter of time. Yeah, so that's just one thing we didn't discuss, but it is going to bring more predators into the area.
Thank you.
We will have this as a recurring old business item for the next few meetings. Perhaps me and Kyle can search for example ordinances from around the county. That might be a helpful place to start as well. I just wanted to get it into you guys' face for the first time and see what the comments were.
Thank you, Casey. Okay, next item is discussion of accessory structure ordinance.
Okay, so when we did our initial work plan discussion, this one came up several times. We had a ZBA meeting on Tuesday, and there they voiced concerns as well about our height at the peak setbacks, and discussed that before, a few years ago, it was just 5 feet across the board. So just wanted to see how you guys felt about the setbacks. I know that Bub also had concerns with private garages being counted as accessory.
You want me to give my view on it?
Let's start with Amber. What Amber thinks first.
Honestly, I'd like to hear what Bub has to say. Go for it.
Okay.
Start out.
I mean, I look at this and everything, lot size 20,000 square foot or less. 20,000 to an acre. You got all these sizes, but the problem with part of this is it's an accessory building. It's not your garage. It's not where you park your cars and you try and take some. So someone with 20,000 square feet or less is allowed 840 square feet. If they have a 400 square foot garage, they have to take that off that 840 square feet. It only leaves them 440 square feet to build their accessory building. Now, if that accessory building has got a peak of 12 feet, they gotta come 12 feet off the sideline and 12 feet off the back line. I don't think I think your garage should be your garage and your accessory building should be your accessory building, like me. I'm not gonna bring my lawnmower into my garage that's plastered, trimmed in oak and everything else, and the entrance into my house, and clean the grass and stuff off from it, or use it for a wood shop or something along that line. So I don't think you should be handicapped or penalized for having a garage and then wanting an accessory building to do everything else. And then if you have an accessory building, say you have 2.99 acres, you're allowed 2,000 square feet. Well, 2,000 square feet on an acre to 2.99 acres is not really that big of a barn. And now you got a 20-foot peak on it, which you're allowed up to 21 or 22 feet, whichever it is. You got to come out 22 feet from the sideline and 22 feet from the back line. And your living room window might be in the back of your house. So now you're looking out at your accessory barn that's set that far away from the property lines. And some people with the smaller ones don't even have, if they have to use those setbacks, don't have room to build that building. So, and to me, that building is tax revenue over the years, forever and ever and ever. So, you know, unless they come in front of us for a variance, spend $600, chances are we're gonna let them change their setbacks or build a little bit bigger building. But, I mean, you're still losing out, like the one that's 22,000 square feet. Got a 500 square foot garage, you're gonna take 500 feet off his building. Well, you know that, they may not wanna get a variance, but that's 500 square foot of building that you're gonna lose tax capture on for eternity. So I don't think your garage, whether it's attached or unattached, should come off of these. I think these square footages ought to be what they are for an accessory building. Accessory buildings used for what it's used for, whether you got a wood shop in it, you're cleaning the lawnmower, you're parking your boat and your 19 quads and everything else. So that's just, and I think the houses are 5 feet on one side, 10 on the other. I think they ought to be the same as your house. Why can your house be 10 feet from your property line and then your barn has to be 21 feet from your property line? It doesn't make sense to me, and that's just my opinion.
I want to ask Catherine, is it standard to have garages, accessory structures in other communities, or is this?
To count a garage as part of the accessory structures?
Yeah.
I've seen it done both ways. What's not real common is the setback of the height of the accessory structure, pushing that in, as you just discussed. So that I have not seen.
I haven't either, and I can see where that's I don't see where that serves a purpose at all from, you know, your sight lines. If your house is 10 feet off the sideline, your garage or accessory structure should be 10 feet off the sideline. I never heard of that either.
And it used to be 5 and 10 feet. I don't know when they changed the ordinance, because like me, if I stand in my backyard and look south, everybody's got a pole barn in their backyard and they're all 5 or 10 feet from their property line. So I just thought that with the peak height doesn't make sense to me.
I guess my question is, how would it count then? Because it's still a lot coverage, it's still a building. So is it just, if it's attached as part of the house, or?
Some people, sometimes it will be, well, usually the setback, if it's attached, if the garage is part of the house, it's part of the main structure, right? You could determine that, you know, you're allowed to have one garage of up to 400 feet or something like that, that is not counted into the accessory structure and equation, essentially. You can decide whatever way you want to go. You may want to also make sure that when you're looking at total lot coverage, right? That's, you know, so is the issue whether we call it accessory structure and you can't have more square footage than accessory structure, or is the issue lot coverage, right? I guess I'm not sure why. I understand not wanting to have really large accessory structures that essentially dwarf the principal use, right?
I think at
It's
one
generally-
time it was percentage of your lot. You couldn't cover more than a percentage of your lot, and then somewhere they changed it.
Well, ours in here is 25%.
Correct, we
Right.
have both.
Okay.
We have both.
I think all of our districts have, at least in the residential districts, they have a percent of lot coverage as a
Yes.
limit.
I understand that, but I'm asking when we're limiting the accessory structures, what's the point of the limitation?
I don't see one.
Is the point that we don't want it to be larger than the house? Because sometimes you say, you know, the house is the principal use, and if you have a 1,000 square foot house, I don't want you to have a 5,000 square foot accessory building, or is the driving analysis that I'm more concerned with lot coverage and I don't really care how it shakes out between principal structure, accessory structure? You know, I don't know, I don't know why here we count the garage as an accessory structure, then we count a pole barn as accessory structure, and then we have a limit of, as she mentioned, 840 square feet on a 20,000 square foot lot or less. Because what's the concern? Is it that I don't want to have too much lot coverage? I have a 25% lot coverage analysis already, right?
I think
So-
the concern is an eyesore from the neighbors,
And that may be.
right?
Probably.
That's probably why the setbacks are the way they are.
Probably, because it's really bad if you decide an accessory building and in my neighborhood, supposedly 200 square feet is the largest you can have. If you go to 240, now at 2,000, you can have 5 feet off the lot line. If you go to 2,040, which is what I wanted, now they measure how high it is. And in my case, it was 10 feet, I think.
240, not 2,000.
240, right?
240,
240, yeah,
yeah.
240, not 2,000.
Yeah, I say, okay.
240 is what I wanted, but that means it had to be 10 feet off the lot line, which puts it out in the middle of my yard.
It's crazy.
And, you know, and
So it can't be a coverage thing.
no. So,
You're probably right. It's probably an aesthetic analysis,
I think,
but then why are you pushing it into the middle of the backyard?
yeah, and that one house the one place that we approved that unfortunately one of our staff members said it was okay, they came in and got a permit and everything, and then the ordinance officer went out and said, hey, this thing's too big. You gotta get rid of it.
That was a ZBA, yeah.
Yeah, and so, and to put it where, even to put that where they wanted it, was gonna be right in the middle of their backyard.
Yeah.
Which would have been ugly.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at this, you know, 20,000 square feet or less, 840 square feet. You know, these numbers of what your permitted floor space are okay. I don't think they're that bad, but to have to take your garage space off
Then
from
they're
that,
small.
then it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Too small.
You know, if someone wants to they got 2.99 acres and they want to put up 2,000 square feet, and they might have a 2.5 car garage attached to their house, it shouldn't affect the 2,000 square feet they're gonna put on 2.99 acres.
No, because the garage, I look at that as part of the house, especially attached garage.
Yeah, well, and that's how I look at it, but, you know, but I don't think the numbers of permitted total floor space are terribly out of line, but I think to reduce them from what you already have attached to your house doesn't make sense.
Okay, Amber, what do you think?
I think Bob's crazy.
No, I think I agree. I definitely don't think that it should be, your garage space should come out of it. I think that, I guess my thought would be more about lot coverage. I don't know that I think it's really a problem for an accessory building to even be larger than the home. I think that's not uncommon, especially on larger lots where people have large accessories, right? Whether it's an RV or a boat or something else, a lot of people are choosing to live smaller and, you know, store elsewhere. So I'm certainly in favor of changing it and would defer to greater experience into what way, but yeah, I'm aligned.
Greg?
I agree with Bob. You know, I think somebody, like on a 10-acre lot, a 5,000 square foot building, accessory building, if that guy had a garage, that's gonna be even smaller. 10-acre lot is a pretty good sized lot. I think that square foot for that size acreage is definitely small.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think garages should be included in your accessory building.
Joseph?
Well, to start with, I would get rid of that setback based on the height of the building so that people can put their accessory structures in, you know, setback appropriate to the zone they're in, like their house. And then, yeah, I agree that, you know, that these sizes are too small, the way they're being calculated now. And I would be comfortable going with the, you know, basic requirement of lot coverage. If you wanted to include a provision for small lots that the accessory structure can't be bigger than the residence, I guess you could do that. But I'm comfortable using just the, 25% or 30% of lot coverage that we have and let it control itself. I think that's sufficient.
So would that be okay on a 10-acre lot to have 2.5 acres of accessory structure?
I mean, an acre is 45,000 square feet. That's
Yeah.
pretty darn.
That's what I'm saying, it's 80,000 square foot.
Yeah.
Someone's got
Do
some
we
money.
know of any exceptions like that?
Well, I'm just saying, if we
know.
default, and so
Yeah.
that's my only concern, because
Yes.
where's the one we had? I don't know if it's at the
HJ?
ZBA, but we had one that built like a 6,000 square foot accessory
Yes,
structure.
that was on
and-
HJ.
Yeah, and they were gonna homeschool the kids in there, and they had basketball in there and everything. It was,
Tennis
it was,
courts.
lovely.
Yeah.
But, what, does it ever get too big, I guess? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, just like a provision for, small lots, maybe, perhaps something for really large lots to prevent that kind of excessive abuse.
Yeah, maybe just a maximum size.
You don't want it so large that they're storing someone else's.
Right, or
They're
running.
not making,
Or running
they're
a
not making
business.
money storing cars.
Exactly,
A boat
exactly.
storage?
Yeah, you.
Jace?
I agree with what everybody says. I'm not trying to be a broken record, as Sandy says, but when it gets down to us. But I feel that attached garages and detached garages should not be included in this at all. And then also, I think that we need to look at what happens if somebody owns a parcel and owns a parcel right next door. Are we going to combine the two parcels to do that, or are we going to just go by the one parcel?
Currently, we make them combine. If they want to go large enough and then not meet setback requirements, then we make them combine them.
So if they own the two parcels next door, they can exceed the one parcel?
If they combine, no. So if they send an application in for one parcel number, it has to meet that parcel number. I do not take into account if they have extra 2 acres in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has,
But what happens if they put in for both parcel numbers?
they would have to combine them.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
And they can't put a accessory building on just a single parcel with
A
no
vacant
house
land.
on it, right?
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
the one parcel, they could not unless they combined them.
Correct. I just wanted to, because it's going to come up here, somebody's going to own the two parcels next door.
Yeah.
There. And I also believe the setback needs to be re-changed on that also there.
Thank you. Sandy?
I think Casey should have a lot of notes and be ready to start write us some changes for the ordinance, because I think she has a lot of good input. And I think our residents are going to be excited and happy with this board.
Yeah, that guy that his garage was knocked down and he couldn't build another one?
Yeah, we got a few of those, so.
Yeah.
Yes, quite a few.
Yeah, we do since the last storm, so, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was I have a lot of ideas and discussions from you all. So I'll probably take this ordinance back, make some strikeouts, and bring it back and go from there. The chicken one, I didn't have much feedback, so I'll just leave it as is and bring it back as you guys mull it over.
Thank you. Okay. This moratorium, you want to speak to that?
Let Catherine do it.
I'm going to speak to that. I have had, as you may know, the Township Board repealed the police power moratorium already, a while ago. And you have had your public hearing, and you had not made a recommendation yet forward to the Township Board about repealing or not repealing the zoning ordinance moratorium. So technically, under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, the Township Board cannot move forward yet. And I make no opinion either way. I'm just telling you, there's people on the Township Board have asked me, why haven't I forced this issue upon you? So the answer is, you know, I am advising that you went through your public hearing. I know, because I sat through the meeting from 4 to 5:30 today, that you are working very hard on possibly recommending some changes to the battery storage ordinance. That's up to you, but I just wanted to bring up the issue again, that the board, at least the majority of the board, I would say, is looking to move forward sooner rather than later. So I think we'd addressed that in our joint meeting earlier today. People felt that it's important to do the right thing. And please don't let me put words in your mouth, but you felt that you still need a little time to get to a point where you feel comfortable making recommendations, but I don't want to presume to speak for you.
I have a question, Catherine. As we've had a public hearing almost a month and 2 weeks ago, is there a point where the Township Board can proceed with no recommendation?
Well, the Township Board can proceed with no recommendation, but it's not according to law. So if somebody wanted to challenge that decision, that would give them a way to do that, if you understand me. So, you know, if the Township Board wants to move forward, they can do that, but they will not have had a Planning Commission recommendation on the repeal of the moratorium, battery storage zoning moratorium, is what I'm trying to say. So I just wanted to bring that back. I think I know what you're going to say, because I sat through the earlier meeting, but I just wanted to bring that up so everybody knows. I've been getting some questions from different Township Board members on that.
Mr. Chair, can I speak?
Yes.
I think we have some great momentum going, great ideas. We're coming together as joint committees, getting good ideas. We have the residents of this community are placed on the top shelf when it comes to our decisions and what we're talking about. I think we should keep this momentum going.
Thank you.
Just one question.
Okay.
Now, what we voted on, put on hold, is that just the police power, but it's not taking the moratorium out of?
So the Township Board has already voted to repeal the police power moratorium. So that's gone, okay? The only thing left standing in place is the zoning ordinance moratorium. And
Okay.
so if people, it's a little bit complicated, but when we enter into a moratorium, we do both a police power moratorium and a zoning ordinance moratorium. And there's more process to undoing, or any type of zoning ordinance amendment requires more process. So we've done the public hearing, and now you are pursuing possibly recommending changes. So that one's still in place.
Okay. But the police power one is not?
Police one is not.
Okay, that was.
Hmm?
So we need to do something on this tonight?
No, I am only bringing it forward because I've been approached by some of the Township Board members to make sure that I'm letting you know that there's some urgency or timeliness and concern about that. But as I think I've said before, your choices after that public hearing were to recommend denial, recommend approval, or table and have discussion. And so I think you're on option 3, as I understand it.
Well, we're trying to get it done.
I know. I know. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I speak?
Yes.
I agree with Greg, and I think that it is important that it remains tabled. I would urge us to keep it tabled because we're doing good work. And if we make a recommendation, then the ordinance as it stands today is a viable ordinance to move forward with for an application. And as we've already kind of worked out, I mean, we've already aligned on some changes that we want to see made. And so I think I don't know if we need a motion or if we can just have discussion, but I would encourage us to keep it tabled.
Thank you. Joseph?
Can we move to table again?
No, you can just leave it on the table.
Just leave it on the
And,
table?
you know, continue your discussion, and when you're ready to make a recommendation on it, you can make it now. As Casey mentioned, will the Township Board decide at some point to do something different? I can't say. Okay?
Understood.
Thank you.
Permission to speak.
Yes, go ahead.
I am not sure if some of those board members who are communicating with you understand the changes that we have made to that ordinance, how important they are that we get paid, that the surety bonds are in place. I mean, we've made a lot of important changes to that cover the township to get paid, the decommissioning. It bothers me so much that the almighty dollar is being put ahead of everything else for the safety of this community. I would be ashamed if they did something like that.
Any other comments? Joan?
Unfortunately, I don't want to make a comment because unfortunately I couldn't make the meeting today due to a personal reason and stuff like that. So right now I would like to no comment and get some more details. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to make? Okay, then I would move that we go to citizen comment.
Not yet. Any other business?
No, that's next, that's on the back.
No, they move it.
Oh, yeah, any other business?
Oh, they did?
Sorry.
Okay, let's go to Matt Watts.
Okay, I'll ask Larry to read it for me. No, I will ask Larry to read this for me when the time comes, but I was sent this email by Mr. Matt Watts, who came back to us back in November, requesting a text amendment for R1C. He has begun designing, I believe, and thought it would be adequate to, for his project to request a rear setback adjustment. Also, if Bob or Larry or James remembers, back when he came to us in November, there was a brief discussion of adjusting the setbacks. However, it never made to the final public hearing or final application, so it kind of got pushed in the dust, and he would just like that brought back up, as he will potentially be putting an application in the next few weeks for this. Just wanted to have a discussion, show you all that this will be coming up, and kind of just go from there.
Okay.
If you could read it, Larry, for the crowd.
There's an application fee, isn't there, for text change?
Oh, here it is.
Yes, there is.
Has that application been made?
No, it will be submitted in probably the next week or so. However, this was just an introduction to you all that this will be coming up, as it was a controversial item the last time.
Okay, I will read this. Hello there, I would like to request a discussion at the Planning Commission meeting on July 24th to discuss shrinking the rear yard setback of R1C cluster zoning from 35 to 20 or 25 based on the current RM multifamily zoning of a 25-foot rear setback and the RMH mobile home park 20-foot rear setback. Please open this dialogue and discussion with the Planning Commission for future ordinance change. Comments? Bob?
Well, it's the setback, it's not the lot size. So I know commercial is 20, or 25, I believe, because the paint store had to be 25 for the strip of grass, 15 on one side, 25 on the other. Not changing the lot size, just changing the setback for the building. I mean, the 5 and 10 feet on each side, that stays the same. The 20 in the front would stay the same. If it was 25 in the rear instead of 35, if somebody, these are gonna be smaller houses than the cluster housing. So if someone wants to put a 10 by 10 screened-in porch on the back of their house, they could use that 10 feet to do that. So I don't think the setback is gonna change anything. And is this just for the wording of the ordinance, or is this?
To amend the complete rear yard setback for R1C.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem going from 35 to 25. Don't think I want to go to 20. But, if somebody wants to put a screen-on porch or something, or maybe build a little bit deeper garage and it fits in the realm of CABA and everything else, I don't think that 10 feet matters, as long as the lot size is not shrunk.
Amber?
I don't know that I would be in favor of it. I would have to really spend some more time looking and understanding. We've already adjusted lot size. We've already adjusted minimum building size. I feel like we're continuing to make a lot of adjustments, and my concern is that, again, we're making adjustments for this zone across the township, not just for specific site plans and such. So I need to do some more homework, but initially, my initial gut is that I'm not necessarily in favor.
Greg?
I'm undecided.
Joseph?
I am more than happy to review all of the requirements and envelope requirements in R1C, but I am not necessarily in favor of the suggestions.
Jim?
I have heard the letter. I feel that cutting it back and somebody wants to do on the back is going to interfere. I figure CABA's got to be involved. I feel that we should have more information from CABA in case somebody wants to do something on the back. Right now, I feel we should leave it the same.
Sandy?
Since this was kind of sprung on us tonight, I feel like I need more information. Even though the information's here, I haven't had time to absorb it, think about it, mull it over. I'm just not prepared to make a decision.
Thank you. And I am not ready either. Okay, this time we are going to citizen comments. A citizen may state their name and address and may speak only one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor, and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you will be making statements to the board without discussion from the board members, but you are welcome to make an appointment with planning and zoning staff to discuss your comments further. Please keep comments clean and respectful.
Hi, William Knight. Good job on what you guys are accomplishing with the BESS ordinance. See a lot of good progress. Good job on tabling it. We're not done. We're not ready. On the Mr. Watts email, I want to remind the commission that we don't make ordinances for developers. We make ordinances for communities. And it seems like he's going to come back and do this. He did this in Portage too. So, I mean, are we going to write it for him? I'm not in agreement with changing anything else. It was already a very contentious ordinance to begin with, and we should just leave it alone. He got what he wanted. He doesn't need to ask for any more. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, 3040 Casper Drive, Brian Nowak. Let me go backwards. Chickens eat anything that don't outrun them. That can be beneficial for creatures, pests, bugs, fleas, whatever. But they will eat your lead paint off your house if you have a poorly managed thing. Would chickens work with Mr. Watts's project? Would that give him enough room? Material costs, no matter what happens in the long run, what you do to your house, you cannot pick your relatives or your neighbors. You can try. So that will always be an issue. I think sometimes we go in directions that we're trying to protect our own behinds. It will always be a problem no matter what happens. So I think this board is really on board compared to the actual board of trustees. There's so many things that I watch on my phone now because I know how to use it, that it's just, you know it. I ain't got to spell it. So beyond that point, and there's other issues, we're trying to critique certain things. We can't discriminate on sizes and chickens and amounts. Roosters have always been illegal because they'll attack somebody, as I would too if I was protecting my hens, okay? So we all know where we're going with that because on the male side of that, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so Hulk Hogan died, we all know about that. He used to swallow raw eggs, I think. And so what I'm seeing now is I'm very happy with this board. I hope that we can maybe blaze a trail for some of the trustees. There seems to be a lot of things that are just so flagrantly obvious about all the offsets and whatever angle and however they're trying to make things happen. What happens if we all just meet in a medium point, quit being personal? Is it personal? Some of it's just like this, that, them, whatever. How's that become? Because it's a change of direction. It's a turn of the tables. It's 50-50. It's probably 51-49. Did I do that right? I'm a Comstock graduate. Let's let it turn. Let's try to make things go in the opposition. So I got one more thing. How many minutes I got? A wise man once said that politicians and diapers should be changed on a regular basis and for the same reason. You guys enjoy yourselves.
Thanks, Brian.
You make more than I did today, guys. Seriously, though. You really are on key. Catherine, you're helping it. You're the ringleader. You need to take
Free comedy show. All right, anybody can top that?
Anyone else want to speak to the board?
Yeah, my name is Dan Herder. I came here tonight just to kind of be supportive to my dad and listen for him, but with your talk on the chickens, I have no opinion on that, but I have some information. I have been cleaning out foreclosed houses for my sister-in-law for the last 3 or 4 years, and some of the houses we've cleaned out have been full of chickens. They had them in the house, and the smell was horrible in the places. But the point I'm making is the neighbors would come over, and they were just so glad that the people were gone and that we were cleaning the house out just to get rid of the smell. So that is just the information I thought of just sitting here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one? I'll close public comment then. Next is training updates, and I don't think we need any of those for a little bit.
Updates from other boards first.
Updates from other boards?
I can give that for the ZBA. We met on Tuesday. We had a resident apply who was on a 0.23 acre lot. They had 840 square foot detached garage, and they wanted an additional 120 square foot shed for their classic car. As you know, they would be over the limit because they already have 840 square foot garage. Ultimately, there was no hardship. There was no unique circumstance. The ZBA denied that request.
Good.
And then well, do you want to do Township Board, or you were absent, so I could just cover that?
I was absent, but I can speak for just something.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Would you like to say anything?
Oh, yes, okay. This first reading passed for the mobile vendor ordinance and the 6668 East ML, Ave rezone unanimously, was it 7-0, so.
Again, I just want to say that I hope the Township Board understands how necessary the changes were in the ordinance that we're working on for the battery storage. If they don't, I think they'll make some serious mistakes trying to move forward without waiting for us to finish up, because I personally do not want to put my name to something that is done halfway since times have changed. Thank you.
Thank you. Planning Commission comments.
Wait.
Amber?
Wait, training updates, no training updates?
No.
Informational future action items, yes.
What's future action?
So our next meeting will be August 14th, that's 3 weeks from now, not the typical 2 weeks. But then we do have the joint meeting on August 7th. So that's 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks, the regular meeting. That meeting will contain the rezone, so I'll send over a packet to you again for that meeting. Action will be decided that night, most likely. And then August 14th, we have a special land use for a pole barn or a garage, and then we have a rezone as well. The rezone for 155 Elliott, Jeremy Brooks. From the manufacturing, the one that I discussed last time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that update. I completely forgot about
Is
it.
that the one that was 2 properties?
Split zoned, yes.
Yeah.
So he decided he's gonna try and request light manufacturing for the whole parcel.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing that forward.
Of course.
And for, just thank you. That's been going on a long time. Thank you.
What's going on August 7th? Did I miss it?
Okay, so August 7th is the special meeting, again, between the moratorium and planning commission. However, we had joint meeting.
4 to 5:30-ish.
Oh, 4 or 5:30? Thank
Correct.
you, so I can put it on my.
No PC meeting that night?
Right,
So,
August 7th.
correct.
Thank you.
Now, Planning Commissioner comments. Amber, you want to start?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Bob?
No, just a couple things. One of them was on the setbacks at 35. We were supposed to discuss that when we did the whole thing, so it was an oversight that it didn't get done. We weren't doing something just for one builder. It's for the R1C, whoever. So that was not just for one builder, but it was an oversight that we didn't discuss that. Same when we did that one on JK, when the peak of the roof was taller than it was, so the guy had to put his 3rd story in his basement, so he didn't have to come back in front of us again. So these oversights do happen, so, anything else? No, the ZBA the other night, I didn't see it. The guy did call me and ask me a couple questions. I told him, I don't know, Casey can help you, and I think Casey worked with him, but see, that's another story. Because he's got 840 square feet, he wanted 120, but he's not allowed it because he already had a garage. So I don't know the circumstances. I didn't get into it, but I think that's another reason we have to look at this setbacks and whatnot on the size of the buildings and stuff per yard or whatever. Just my.
Greg?
Nothing.
Joseph?
Nothing additional.
James?
I think we had a great discussion on the accessory building there. I thought it was great, very good discussion. I fear the chicken ordinance, we need to work it a little bit more and tweak and see if we can get a productive ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandy?
Good job tonight, everybody. Even you too.
Yes.
I'm excited. I think our residents should be excited about some of the things we're starting to tackle and get done. I'm excited to move forward with the accessory buildings because I know we have people who have lost buildings through the storms, and they're waiting for us, I think. I hope they know that we're working on these, Casey. Yes, they do? Okay. And I just want to thank Casey for helping me work with a resident after the meeting tonight. So it's nice that when we have people come to us, I've kind of been giving Casey a heads up and saying, hey, I have a resident who came to me, I told him to come to you, but we're going to work together on this one and help this resident get where he needs to be. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for the audience for sticking around.
Yes, thanks to everyone. Good job. And with that, I will adjourn. Jimmy, we're glad you're